Coming up on today's show, we're going to be talking about some keys to victory, how the Cincinnati Bengals can dominate the Tennessee Titans on Sunday. Certainly a game the Bengals should win. Should be able to go back-to-back here after Monday night's win against the Cowboys. As you can see there on the graphic, the Bengals are 5-point favorites in this game, and Tennessee really struggling, right, especially at the quarterback position, and they're just kind of at a stage of their season when they're kind of just tooling for 2025. The Bengals kind of feel like they're sort of in that spot, but they've got too many guys, particularly on the offensive side of the ball, that are playing too well, and obviously they do still have some hope when it comes to the playoffs. Very minuscule at this point, but hey, we can kind of prolong this thing, stay alive for another week. Who knows what could happen? I know I kind of let that ship sail, right? I've kind of already started, kind of accepted the fact that the Bengals aren't going to be in the playoffs, but hey, technically haven't been mathematically eliminated yet. So we're going to be getting into some keys to victory as well as some injury updates going into this game on Sunday. But before that, I want to remind you guys to hit that thumbs up icon if you haven't done so already. I've told you guys about this December like battle. We have a slight lead here, but we really need you guys to help us out because our Ravens channel, they are able to put out a little bit more content than we are based on what the things we have going on here at Chat Sports Cincinnati. So we really need to make sure every video we put out there, we are getting a bunch of likes on. The goal always is to get over 300 likes on each video. So help us out so we can win this like battle, close out 2024 strong. Hit that thumbs up icon if you have not done so already. All right, let's start with Joe Burrow, of course. Joe Burrow was a limited participant in practice Wednesday and also was yesterday on Thursday, dealing with that knee injury that he suffered in the Dallas Cowboy Monday night game. Also a wrist designation on the injury report, but that has been there throughout the entirety of the season, and as far as we know, the wrist is completely 100% fine. The knee, however, it will be interesting to see how he moves around. When he put the sleeve on and then came back into that Cowboy game on the next possession, he was able to move around just like we always see him move around. So it didn't appear to be an issue on Monday, but of course he had the adrenaline going. You know, he was in the middle of a game, what have you. We'll see if he can move around the same way on Sunday because that's really going to be critical for Cincinnati if he is unable to do that on Sunday. Also, Orlando Brown Jr. was a DNP on Wednesday and also was a DNP yesterday on Thursday. Look, he's been really, really banged up with that fibula injury. Was able to battle through for the Pittsburgh game when you still felt like you had a lot of life in the playoffs. But I don't expect to see Orlando Brown Jr. on Sunday. Really unfortunate because he was having such a good year before he had, began to get riddled with those injuries. Another DNP for Sheldon Rankins on the defensive side of the ball. He didn't practice Wednesday. He didn't practice Thursday. Has been out for weeks now with this illness. Hopefully he's all right, but we haven't seen and we really haven't gotten much of an update either on Sheldon Rankins. It's good to get the young guys, McKinley Jackson and Chris Jenkins Jr., some reps, but this is a guy you brought in free agency. You're paying a lot of money, and you really haven't got much from him this year. Also, back-to-back DNPs for Charlie Jones. You kind of feel for him as well. I mean, we've seen him be limited in practice throughout some of these weeks, but then ultimately he gets to game day and he is unable to go. 2 DNPs, Wednesday, Thursday for Charlie. Don't expect to see him back there returning punts for Cincinnati this week. Will probably be Isaiah Williams in that role for Darren Simmons' unit. But back to Joe Burrow as the pin comment of today's video. What's your concern level with Joe Burrow's knee? Scale it for us 1 to 10. I think we're going to find out pretty early in this Titan game exactly what our concern level rather is with this injury. And, we really need to see Joe Burrow moving around like he has been, or at least similar to that in this game if the Bengals want to win. Unfortunately, that's kind of what is expected of Burrow. He's got to be close to perfect if the Bengals are going to go out and win professional football games, and I'm not sure he can get to that level if he is not mobile. But regardless, get down in the comment section, sound off for us. If that ad comes here on YouTube, it's fine. Take advantage of it. Get down in the comments. Let us know what you think. Let's get into some keys to victory here, and this one might catch you guys a little bit by surprise here, but I think it's going to be really important to get Khalil Herbert going in this game. And last week against the Cowboys, that's really the most we have seen from Khalil Herbert in terms of being out on the field, getting some of those snaps, helping out Chase Brown. I think it's going to be really crucial to get him going in this football game as well, because you're trying to see if he could potentially be a piece for you in the future. Obviously, Zach Moss has been hurt. He's out for the year. He's under contract for next year. But if you have something here in Herbert, he could be a guy that you potentially bring back because, of course, you did trade a 7th-round pick for him. I've liked what I've seen from Herbert, and I definitely think it's important to take some of the load off Chase Brown because really at that running back position, I get Brown's in his 2nd year in the league, but he's taken a ton of punishment. He's been out there for a ton of carries. I don't think that's something that is sustainable for too many years to come. Again, that won't be a problem until a few years from now. I think you got a really good player in Chase Brown. You got to protect him to some degree, especially considering your season is where it's at right now. I want to see Khalil Herbert get some more touches and show what he can do and see if he could potentially be a long-term piece for this football team. Back to Joe Burrow here. I do think the mobility of Burrow is going to be important in this game. If he's a statue back there in the pocket, that could spell trouble for this Cincinnati Bengals football team because the Tennessee Titans are not good, but they got a pretty solid interior there defensively, and really top to bottom they have a solid defensive, just really defense in general, right? They go out there and they make good things happen on that side of the football. This is what Joe Burrow did last year in Week 4 when the Bengals went to Nashville and took on the Tennessee Titans. Of course, was dealing with that calf strain for the first several weeks of the season. And he didn't kill you in the game, but he certainly didn't do anything to help you win the football game. And the Bengals only mustered up 3 points in that game against the Tennessee Titans last year. So, the worry is that if this knee is going to prevent him from moving around the way he wants to, it could be kind of a repeat of that game in Nashville, and it really was just a nightmare game. Again, lost 27-3 against a team in the Titans that really is not a good football team, and they weren't last year either. So I'm really going to be watching Joe Burrow, as everybody is, of course. But there is some concern going in with what the knee is going to look like. Hopefully, he looks to be just fine, and he can still maneuver around the pocket, has that ability to extend, make plays, and make things happen down the football field. We'll continue with our keys to victory here in a moment, but first, want to give a shout-out to our friends over at PrizePicks because today's show is presented by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 200 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. You can now win up to 200 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. PrizePicks is the best way to get action on sports in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. PrizePicks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, so your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, PrizePicks keeps your lineup live. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. Join over 10 million users and sign up today. They also invented the Flex Play. This is what we threw together here at our Chat Sports offices. Giving away a freebie here with the Patrick Mahomes more than half a passing yard. I would encourage everybody to get that into their PrizePicks slates because obviously that is something that is going to happen. Going with the more than on Jaden Daniels pass yards as well. In addition to that, got the more than on the Tyreek Hill receiving yards. Make your holidays bigger and brighter with PrizePicks, the best place to get real money action while you're watching your favorite sports. They also now offer MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. So download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. It's PrizePicks. Run your game. Next up here is slowing down the run. Going to be critical for Cincinnati in this game. I can almost guarantee, and I don't mean to just take a shot here at Will Levis, but if you make him beat you, it ain't going to happen. You're going to find a way to win the football game if they cannot establish something on the run in Tennessee. Taking a look at what Rico Dowdle did to you last week. He got absolutely obliterated by this guy. 18 carries, 131 yards, rushing for over 7 yards per carry. Just absolutely insane that you gave this up to Rico Dowdle. It's going to be very critical that you don't do this again on Sunday against the Tennessee Titans again, because that just helps out Will Levis, and then that gives him some confidence that he doesn't have to do everything everything by himself, and that could be a real problem for you because, again, this is a team that you absolutely should beat and really need to beat if you're going to just have some confidence and just feel good about yourself for where you're at in this season. Absolutely you need to beat this Tennessee Titans football team, and stopping the run is going to go a long way in ensuring that happens. Another opportunity for you guys to get involved with our show here at Bengals Breakdown. Will the Bengals give up 100 yards on the ground? Be honest with us. Let us know. Type M for more or L for less in the comment section. Kind of a two-headed monster here that you're going to be dealing with the Tennessee Titans. Again, not exactly sure the status of Tony Pollard. He is officially questionable at this point. We haven't seen him practice on Wednesday, and as far as his Thursday practice goes, in terms of whether or not he was out there for the Tennessee Titans, he also did not practice on Thursday with that ankle injury, so we'll see. Tyjae Spears, certainly a capable running back as well, kind of looking at what these guys have done this year. Tennessee hasn't really done crazy stuff for you on the ground. Taking a look at some of their rush offense numbers here, towards the bottom of the league, right? That should be a positive sign for Cincinnati because your defense is the absolute worst, so you should think that you should be able to slow down this Titans rush offense to some degree. Again, not like they have a ton of success running on the ground there, only averaging a half a touchdown on the ground. That's 28th in the National Football League. But when you look at the Bengals rush defense, obviously you can pull up any Cincinnati Bengals defensive stat, and it's going to be absolutely awful. And kind of more of the same here. Typically, you're actually in the 30s for a lot of these stats, but you're hanging out there at that 26 range as far as, rush touchdowns per game and certainly rush yards per game, hanging out there at 23. We'll see if the Bengals can hold the Tennessee Titans to under 100 yards. I would be surprised, but I think if you do, you 100% win this football game. And lastly, got to win the turnover battle, right? This is what we've seen with this defense, right? They're just not good enough to not win the turnover battle, right? That interception they got on Dallas's second drive last week was critical. If Geno Stone doesn't make that play, get that interception, I don't think you win that football game. So opposing offenses just have too much success moving the ball against Cincinnati, and at some point, you're going to have to force a turnover in order to get that stop because you're not just going out there and making teams punt like you should be. So winning the turnover battle is going to be very, very critical. I think if Cincinnati can do those four things or even really do two or three of those things, it should be enough to win this game in Nashville. Predict the score for me of Bengals versus Titans. I want to know what you guys think. We had somebody last week hanging out with us on our watch party that absolutely nailed Bengals and Cowboys. Let's see if anybody can do it again this week. My score prediction is the Cincinnati Bengals are going to get a victory, 31-21. I think Joe Burrow is going to be moving around well enough. I think Jamar Chase is really going to have some abilities or opportunities to continue to make explosive plays. I think you're going to see T. Higgins have a big game as well. I know that's not exactly going out on a limb saying that considering where and how Cincinnati has played in recent weeks, but I'm expecting big games from the big trio once again, Burrow, Chase, and Higgins. I do think Titans' Will Levis are going to be able to score some points in this game because the Bengals defense, well, we know Bengals defense just isn't very good. But I had the Bengals winning 31-21 on Sunday.